I need to confess something I've never told a living soul. My house saved my life, but only after it tried to kill me first. My name is Ava, and for the past 6 months, I've been living in my late grandmother's house, the one I inherited after she passed. It was a bittersweet gift of sprawling, two-story Victorian on the edge of a sleepy town, filled with the scent of old books and lemon polish. It was also the setting of every happy childhood summer I could remember. Moving in felt like coming home, but also like stepping into a museum dedicated to a past I could never reclaim. The first few months were peaceful, filled with the satisfying work of making the old place my own, but then the little things started. I'd find the kitchen tap running a slow, steady drip, even though I was certain I'd turned it off tight. The scent of my grandmother's lilac perfume would waft through an empty hallway, so strong it made my eyes water, then vanish completely. And the house was always cold. I mean, a deep, bone-seeping chill that no amount of central heating could touch. I chalked it up to old pipes, my own grief playing tricks on me, and poor insulation. It was an old house, after all. It had its quirks. But here's a question for you, while I've got you. Have you ever had a moment where you were absolutely 100 certain you were alone, only to feel that certainty shatter in an instant? That prickling on the back of your neck? That silent, screaming instinct? Hold on to that feeling. The escalation was slow, a masterclass in psychological torment. It began with sounds, not the groans and creaks of a settling house, but deliberate noises. 3 sharp knocks would echo from the basement door every night at 3:07 a.m. Not 3:05, not 3:10, 3:07. The precision was what chilled me. Then, the piano in the formal living room, the one no one had played in a decade, would emit a single, dissonant chord in the dead of afternoon silence. I'd run in, heart hammering, to find the key cover down and a fine layer of dust undisturbed on the ivory keys. The worst was the whispering. It wasn't voices, not exactly. It was the auditory equivalent of static, a sibilant hiss that seemed to coil from the heating vents, just on the edge of comprehension. It felt like the house itself was breathing, trying to form words. I stopped sleeping through the night. I started jumping at my own shadow, my reflection in the dark windows a wide-eyed stranger staring back. One Tuesday, after a particularly sleepless night, I came home from work to find the house warm. For the first time since I'd moved in, it felt genuinely, comfortably warm. The oppressive chill was gone. The air smelled of fresh coffee and baking bread scents from my grandmother's kitchen when I was a child. A profound, weary relief washed over me. I'd imagined it all. Grief and stress and isolation had conjured a haunting where there was none. I laughed, a shaky, tearful sound, and poured myself a glass of wine, deciding to take a long, hot bath to celebrate the return of my sanity. That false safety was the most dangerous thing I've ever felt. As I soaked in the tub, the steam fogging the mirror, the familiar chill began to seep back into the room. The bathroom light flickered, then died, plunging me into darkness so complete I couldn't see my hand in front of my face. The whispering from the vents returned, but this time it wasn't static. It was a voice, raspy and ancient, threading through the hiss. It whispered my name, Ava. Then, get out. I froze, the water instantly feeling like ice. Then the lock on the bathroom door clicked. Not the sound of it locking, but the sharp, metallic snick of it unlocking. My breath hitched. I had definitely locked it. I heard the doorknob turn, slowly, deliberately. The door began to swing inward, revealing the pitch-black hallway beyond, but no one was there. The door just opened, as if by an invisible hand. I didn't think. I surged out of the tub, slipping on the tile, scrambling for a towel. I ran, dripping and barefoot, into the hallway. The house was a carnival of terror. Every door I passed to the spare rooms, the linen closet, The basement swung open in unison, with a deafening slam against the walls. From the kitchen, I heard the frantic clatter of every drawer and cabinet flying open. The whispering was everywhere now, a chorus of urgent, overlapping rasps. Out, out, get out. Blind with panic, I ran for the front door. My sanctuary had become a snarling, living thing trying to expel me. My hand closed on the cold brass of the deadbolt. It was locked. I never locked the deadbolt from the inside. I fumbled, my wet fingers slipping, as a new sound rose behind me. A dragging, scraping sound coming from the top of the stairs. Something heavy was being pulled across the hardwood of the second-floor landing. Thump, drag, thump, drag. I finally threw the bolt, wrenched the door open, and stumbled out into the cold night air, collapsing on the front lawn in nothing but a soaked towel. I watched, gasping, as every light in the house blazed to life, flooding every window with a fierce, angry yellow glow, and in the upstairs window of my grandmother's old room, a shadow moved. It wasn't human. It was a shapeless, dense blot against the light, and for a moment it stood perfectly still, looking down at me. Then, one by one, the lights began to snap off, from the top floor down, as if the house was closing its eyes. The front door, which I'd left hanging open, slowly swung shut with a final, definitive click. I never went back inside. I stay in a motel now. The police did a wellness check. Found nothing. No signs of break-in, no vandalism. Everything was perfectly in place. They think I had a mental break. Maybe I did. But last night, as I was trying to sleep in this sterile room, my phone buzzed with a notification. It was from the cloud backup of my home security system, which I'd forgotten to disable. A motion alert. From inside the locked house, I opened the feed, my hand trembling. The camera in the living room showed a figure standing in the middle of the room, its back to the lens. It was tall and impossibly thin, and it was just standing there. As I watched, frozen, it slowly began to turn its head, not toward the camera, but toward the front window, toward where I used to sit and read. The feed glitched and died. This morning, I received another notification. A single image file, time-stamped 3:07 a.m. It was a photo from that same camera, pointed at the front door, scratched into the wood of the door, as if by frantic clawing fingers was a single, fresh word, soon. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you felt that chill down your spine, you're not alone. The unknown is often the most terrifying thing of all. If you enjoyed this tale, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps more people find these stories. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications, because I have so many more unsettling true stories to share. And let me know in the comments, have you ever felt a presence in your own home, a feeling you just couldn't explain? I read every single one.